Welcome to The Green Pretenders,
a sustainably challenged podcast.
My name's Simon.
And my name's Sian, and this episode we are talking about Plastic-Free July, which is, you might have seen it on social media, or some friends might have been telling you about it, or you might be doing it. It's an initiative to make the month of July free of single-use plastic. It's basically been spurred by the Plastic Free Foundation, an independent not-for-profit organisation. They were set up in 2017, and they've got so much advice and resources for us, so we're just going to basically signpost them, big it up, and see if any of you want to jump in at halfway through July to make it plastic free.
Yeah, like we did. We jumped on the bandwagon. The website is plasticfreejuly.org, and it's full of resources and inspirational tips and tricks.
Yeah, one of the things I really like is on their list of core values, one of theirs is the belief that small changes add up to a big difference. And I kind of feel like that's a lot of what we talk about in this podcast. It's all about that snowflake analogy. Little snowflakes add up to a big avalanche of change. That's something that they believe in. So I feel like they're up our street, Simon, aren't they?
They really are, yeah. And I also love that they say you don't have to be perfect. You know, they say like the most important thing is that the people are trying.
Yes.
And yeah, that's definitely us.
Yeah, and in keeping with that idea of not being perfect, they sort of understand that for some people it's just not viable to go plastic free in all walks of your life, because maybe your job just doesn't allow that at the moment. So they even, have options for you to say, I'm going to be going plastic free at home, or I'm going to be going plastic free at work, and they give you advice and support to do that.
Yeah, totally. Like, you can work in a hospital and go plastic free. That's just, not feasible.
So Simon and I joined the bandwagon. I think I was a day late. I started Plastic Free July on July 2nd, I think. What about you?
Yeah, I think I did too. I think I messaged you maybe on the 1st, and then we kind of started on the 2nd, which is totally fine. And we encourage anyone who is interested after listening to this to join for the second half of July.
Or if you've already been doing it, then use this episode as inspiration to up your game. Maybe there is something that's been like a little niggling thing. Maybe this episode can inspire you to kind of eradicate those last little, the final frontier of plastic for you. So as Simon said, if you go to plasticfreejuly.org, you can click on the button that says take the challenge, and you're kind of then, committing yourself to being part of this movement, and you'll get emails which give you tips and they give you motivation. And yeah, what do they talk us through, Simon?
So I found the email really lovely because, it's kind of like, how did you do in like week 1? And they gave some tips at the end of the email. And they talk about, as you said, creating little habits and small behavioural changes that hopefully should go on after the challenge as well.
And actually, the first round of things that they want us to focus on are hopefully things that a lot of the kind of sustainably minded community are already doing, or at least trying to do, because the first list of things is like plastic shopping bags, plastic straws, takeaway coffee cups, plastic water bottles. And I think a lot of us are kind of really getting there with those things. Not to say that it's necessarily like 100% of the time, but I find that quite encouraging, because it just makes it really accessible. Not immediately launching in and saying to people, you do realise that you should be making your own toothpaste out of charcoal and mint oil. It's like, it's a step back. It's just acknowledging that for some people, this isn't even on their radar at all, and it's baby steps. And then, for those of us hardcore eco attempters, there's a step up that includes things like soaps and dental care and sanitary items. P.S. We've got a good episode on sanitary items if you do need to get some inspiration there. And they even talk about balloons and decorations, which I thought was a really nice little niche thing, because I don't think I've really thought about that before. Like, if you have a kid and you want to give them a party, you can't have a kid's party without balloons, can you? But they recommend, making bunting out of old fabric scrap instead, and swapping glitter for confetti that's made out of dried leaves. How beautiful and quaint is that?
Yeah, I love that. I'd love to try that, actually, making the confetti of dried leaves. I've seen that somewhere else as well. It's really great, and as you say, it's really accessible and nicely divided up into the different areas of life. So it's all to sort of make it easier for us to follow their, lead.
And then if you did want to be a bigger part of it, they have a resources page where you can print off posters, and there's videos that you can share. So say if you have a platform at your work, for example, or if you've got a group of friends that maybe you want to give a bit of a nudge to, you can even go to their resources page and grab some of the posters and share them digitally, or pop a video somewhere. So yeah, they're just making it very easy for us to engage with this month of Plastic Free July. There's no excuse, basically.
No, there isn't. I also thought it was interesting that they did actually think about whether to change it this year because of the pandemic to Plastic Free November. But then they were like, no, they're not going to do it because, we are in this crisis now. As we've mentioned before, single-use plastic has increased, actually. And, it felt like the right time to do this still.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like we need to be trying extra hard.
Yeah.
So on the website, they've got a pesky plastics quiz.
Ooh.
And I'm going to do the pesky plastics quiz on you. And you have to be honest, okay?
Okay.
So it does say your survey answers are anonymous, but unfortunately, Simon, I've kind of revealed your identity to all and sundry. Okay, so there are a list of options ranging from I always do this now down to I'm very unlikely to start to do this. And there are 6 options. So let's say that 1 is I always do this, that's something you always do, and 6 is you're very unlikely to do that. So I need you to pick a number between 1 and 6.
Okay.
So avoiding pre-packed meat or fish.
That would be a 1 because I'm a vegetarian.
Aspiring vegan as well.
Aspiring vegan.
Avoid takeaway food in plastic containers.
I would give it a 3.
A 3. That one is quite a hard one, isn't it? Because it's sometimes you can end up feeling like there's no choice if you just need something.
Exactly.
Yeah. Buying dried foods, e.g. grains, nuts and spices in bulk.
I think that's a 2.
Nice.
I've started doing this because I have this great Turkish supermarket that does huge bags of all grains and stuff.
That's a great tip. Okay, so go to a Turkish supermarket. Reduce the amount of soft drink bottles used, e.g. consume less or make your own soda.
Yeah, I think that's a 2 as well because I rarely ever drink sodas anyway, but I also don't have a soda stream. So if I do buy like soda water, mineral water, I buy a huge bottle, like 2-litre bottle. But I rarely ever do that, so I would say a 2.
I do actually have a soda stream. My partner Dave got it, and we did look into it because I was wondering, the canisters and the gas and stuff, how does that compare to a plastic bottle that you buy from the shops? But happy to say that on balance, the soda stream does come out on top environmentally.
Nice.
Okay, next one. Refusing straws with takeaway and dine-in drinks.
Yes, I can happily say that I've started to do that, but I'm still going to give it a 2 because of my past non-reusable straw usage. It's a burden I carry to the grave.
Oh no, I don't think you should hold past Simon to account on this pesky plastics quiz, Simon.
Okay, it's present time, Simon. Then I would definitely say 1.
My present self struggles with this sometimes because I forget to preempt it. So sometimes I don't say straight away, oh, and I don't want a straw, or oh, and I've got my own cup, and suddenly there's like a straw in the drink and it's too late.
Yeah, I think that's a difficult one. It's similar to the bags at the market.
It's like an association thing, maybe. Start to associate the idea of stepping across the threshold of a pub with the image of a straw. So you're like, pub, straw, and then it will just be in your head when you get to the bar. No straw.
Yeah, and maybe also encourage pubs to like actively, tweet them or email them and encourage them to, use paper straws or not use straws at all.
Lobby them.
Yes, lobby them.
Okay, next one. Choosing alternatives or avoiding plastic bottles of milk and juice.
Yes. I think that would be a 3 because I use plant milk and they come in this cardboard plastic container, Tetra Pak, I think they're called. And they are actually really difficult to recycle and probably very energy consuming because it's kind of like cardboard and plastic. And those are always the difficult ones. That's the issue with like crisp packets and stuff.
Bloody crisp packets.
So yeah, maybe that will have to be a 4 actually. Yeah.
Okay. Avoiding pre-packaged fruit and vegetables.
So I've become very good at that. So I would give it a 1. And it's funny because it's kind of changed my diet. Like the other day I wanted to buy rhubarb, but it was in plastic and I didn't buy it. I was like, nope, okay. And until they provide me with a plastic-free, alternative, I'm just not going to buy these products.
That's like a metaphor for the whole sustainability movement in a way. It's getting used to the idea that we're not entitled to everything whenever we want it. We shouldn't be entitled to buy new clothes just because a t-shirt that we like has got a little bit faded, or new technology just because a new version of something has been released, even though the old version is far from redundant. And the same goes for food. We shouldn't be entitled to this belief that we can have whatever we've got a craving for, even if it's out of season or shipped from the other side of the world or swathed in plastic. I don't know if you find the changing in diet like a really difficult thing, but I would have thought that in the end we just get used to it. It's like we realise that, how desperately did you want that rhubarb? It's kind of fine to not have it.
Exactly, yeah. And to be honest, like I find the paradox of choice definitely is a real thing in my life. It's where you have too many choices and then you become like unsatisfied by that. Like it stresses me out. So going vegetarian was the first thing. Like, on a menu in a restaurant, my choices are limited, and that makes it so much easier for me to choose. I mean, maybe I'm weird that way, but at shopping as well, it's like, okay, so I can choose this, this, and this because it doesn't have plastic packaging, and that's still a lot. Like it's not like I'm just nibbling on a carrot because that's the only thing, or like an onion. Nibbling on an onion. Do you have that picture in your head now?
Yeah, just sad in a corner, nibbling on a raw onion. I'm doing it for the world, everybody. Okay, so the next one, I think I know what your number will be for this one. Choosing bars of soap in place of liquid in plastic containers.
Yes, that's a solid 1 as well. Oh no, it's a 2. It's a 2 because I bought, I dyed my hair blonde and then I had to buy silver shampoo. So totally, see, I'm a true green pretender. I would say I'm a 1 and then I think about it and I realise it's a 2.
I mean, technically it's specifying soap. If I could, I'd give you a 1.5, but it's only allowing me a binary 1 or 2. So I'm going to go for a 2.
And it gives me space to improve. I like that.
And also your hair does look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, next up. Picking up litter in public places.
Yes, so here's the thing. I used to do that a lot. Like I used to go for a walk and I'd pick as much as I could carry to the next bin. Ideally recycling bin, because there's loads of plastic bottles and stuff. Now with coronavirus, I've become a little bit wary of doing that, of picking things up, just because I don't always carry hand sanitizer, which I probably should. So yeah, maybe I'm doing this less now, but hopefully when this crisis is over, I will do it again. And I still want to do that litter picking event.
Yeah, we do have an idea, don't we? A pipe dream to run a litter picking event in London. So everyone watch this space. But yeah, I think if anything, post-pandemic, this is something that we definitely all need to up our game with, because we've seen that the pandemic has caused such an upspike in litter everywhere. It's crazy. Like me and my friends met for the first time for a socially distanced little reunion in a park the other day. And it was one of the really windy days, and we basically just sat in the same place for a couple of hours and ended up collecting an entire bag of rubbish just as it blew across our sort of group, the amount of litter was unreal. So yeah, I think post-pandemic, invest in a litter picker, a little claw grabber thing.
Yeah.
If you're worried about touching things, you could maybe have your own litter picking gloves that you pop on, pick stuff up, and then you wash the gloves when you get home. Kind of make it like something that you're almost preparing to do, not that you just do it incidentally if the moment arises.
Exactly, yeah. Go for a walk, get some exercise, and do some litter picking.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, I think this is enough of me interrogating you, Simon, for now. But I would encourage everyone to go and take the quiz.
Yes. Take the quiz and find out what areas you can improve.
The main thing that sticks out in my mind was what you said about the Tetra Pak things for like the milk, and this idea of things being like recyclable. I'm doing air quotes. Good podcasting technique there. Things being air quotes recyclable, but us not actually knowing the difference between definitely recyclable, chuck it in the recycling bin, or recyclable but only if you happen to have a high spec recycling plant around the corner kind of vibe. And I think you had some good intel about how we can scrutinise the label a bit more, didn't you?
Yes, exactly. Have you ever seen that little triangle on the bottom of your plastic container? It's actually 3 arrows in a triangle, and it has a number in the middle.
Yeah, so I feel like I know the triangle, but if I'm honest, I don't take notice of the numbers.
Yeah, so it's just a classification of what kind of plastic it is. So basically, there's the numbers from 1 to 7, and it classifies the plastic. The recyclable numbers are 1, 2, 4, and 5. And the ones that are definitely not recyclable are 3, 6, and 7. And 6, I think, is polystyrene. You know, the styrofoam cups that just can't be recycled. So I would encourage everyone to just pay attention to that. 1, for example, is a PET, which is the usual plastic bottle that like drinks come in, or, you know, and this is very widely recyclable, and we all know that. But not all of them are equally recyclable.
Okay, what were the numbers again? 1, 2, 4, and 5
are recyclable.
Okay.
3, 6, and 7 are not.
Okay, let's think of a good rhyme. Okay, 1, 2, 4, and 5. You can do an eco jive.
Yes.
What were the other ones?
3, 6, and 7.
You're in plastic hell, not heaven.
Yes. I love that.
Yeah?
I love that.
Okay. 1, 2, 4, and 5. You can do an eco jive. Oh fuck! I've forgotten the next ones
3,
again.
6, and 7.
I should be able to work it out because it's the numbers that aren't 1, 2, 4, or 5. Okay. 1, 2, 4, and 5. You can do an eco jive. 3, 6, and 7. You're in plastic hell, not heaven.
Yes. I love it.
Okie dokie. I'm probably going to spend more time trying to remember that rhyme than just learning the numbers.
Then checking the labels.
Yeah. That's such good intel though, and something so basic that I can't believe I don't already take notice of.
Yeah, but I didn't really do that either. Just by researching this episode, I stumbled across it, and I think it's really helpful.
And what was the website again?
It's sustainabilityguide.co.uk.
Amazing. Wonderful. Is there anything else we want to say about Plastic Free July before we do our eco whoops and poops?
Is there anything specific that you've really struggled with? Because I've got like 3 things.
I think probably my most guilty admission would be that the things that I'm struggling with, I've almost just kind of resolved to not buy until July's over, as if I'm just sort of freezing my habits for a bit. And as my ever wise partner pointed out, shouldn't it be about, you know, taking the time now to work out sustainable solutions so that you can carry on having that product maybe, but in a plastic-free way? And I was like, nope, I'm just not going to buy it. That's fine. So, but actually, in a roundabout way, like with the rhubarb situation, I'm surviving perfectly fine without those things. So maybe the outcome will actually be that I won't go back to buying them. I'll realise that there's literally no need for me to have certain things, and that's totally fine.
Yeah. And, you know, as a true green pretender, I did the same thing. I was just like, oh, okay, that has run out. I have no idea where to get that plastic free, so I'm not going to have it.
Yeah.
Something for me, for example, is coffee, and I want to go whole bean coffee and then grind it myself. But they have something that looks like cardboard on the outside, but actually on the inside it's still like a plastic lining, probably to keep it fresh. So I'm definitely not going to go with that coffee, because I think I might just be the most miserable person in the world. So to my fellow human beings, I will try and find an alternative. I might check with a local shop called Fin and Earth. Maybe they have coffee, or maybe they can direct me towards someone who has like plastic-free coffee. Another thing is labels, for example. So you buy a glass jar and you go like, ooh, it's glass, I can recycle it, it's great. But it has a plastic label, a peel-off label. And I'm like, well, it's not plastic-free then. So, it's things like that I really struggle with. And I think it's definitely food for thought. Also, for example, I go to the market and I buy spinach, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't have plastic, but it's actually not true. It has a little rubber band, and I do collect these rubber bands. Like, we have a bazillion rubber bands, so if anyone, Sean, do you need rubber bands? I can definitely supply some.
I actually kind of do for tie-dyeing. They're really useful.
Yes, I'll bring you some rubber bands.
Nice. All right, shall we rattle through our eco whoops and poops to finish off this plastic-free episode?
Yes.
I will kick off with an eco whoop, which is motivational Tupperware. So I'm not trying to endorse the fact that we should sort of buy things just because they look nice. But I do believe that if you don't already have a Tupperware set, it might be worth buying one that has a nice design that you really like the look of, because ultimately you will feel inspired and motivated to use that item, because it's not just a way to store your food and take it out for lunch. You like it and it appeals to you. So I've got one with like little toucans on it, and I actually really enjoy taking it out and using it, and it's motivational. So that's mine.
Nice. And I think it's great because it also points to the fact that not all plastic is really, really bad.
Yeah, because we need to always remember that the environmental impacts of plastic production are really small. It's like quite an efficient material in the making of it. And the classic thing, the guy who invented the plastic bag never intended them to be used once and then a new one the next time you shop. He intended them to be used and used again, because they're so low impact to produce that was actually meant to be an environmental solution at the time. So it's not that all plastic is bad, and if you have a plastic item in your life that you reuse all the time, then great.
Yes. So I'm going to use this opportunity to give a big shout out to Dalston Eastern Curve Garden. It's this small community project type thing, and honestly, it's a Garden of Eden. It's a little gem in such a busy area, busy city, and they are actually struggling at the moment because of social distancing guidelines. They haven't opened yet. I really love them. I've been there many times, many sunny afternoons, and so I made a donation yesterday to help them out a little bit. They're halfway there, so half of their target has been hit in only a couple of weeks, I think. So even if you don't have the money currently to support them, once they're open, check them out. It's like the most beautiful place, and I will definitely take you, Sean, there, and we're going to have a coffee or a pint or a pizza and just enjoy the flowers, wild flowers and the bees, and it's such a lovely space.
And wherever you live in the world or in the country, there might well be a community garden or a local project like that you might want to support. They're everywhere, really, and I think they often go quite unnoticed.
Yeah.
All right, and then for the first time in ages, we're reintroducing the eco poop, because things are looking up vaguely, so we're allowed to talk about bad things now. So I'm going to give you an eco poop, and as a reminder, because we haven't done it in ages, our eco poops are either things that we've seen in the news that are annoying us, or things that we're getting wrong, or just anything really. So mine is the idea of trial and error in trying to be sustainable, because long story short, I basically wanted to change up my shampoo from a shampoo bar because my hair was falling out a bit due to a medication, but I thought maybe the shampoo bar wasn't helping. So I looked up this eco beauty company, and they give you like refillable bottles, and it's like all the website was very convincing and stuff, and I really researched it, but I got it and the shampoo was a bit crap. So now it's like another wasted product, basically a wasted venture. So yeah, I guess the eco poop is the idea that, you know, we can't know what the right solution is going to be straight off the bat, and that's a shame that it kind of has a byproduct of waste maybe sometimes. But turn it around, persevere, and it'll all be fine.
Yes, you will find a shampoo for your hair. All right, so mine's a bit of a general one, but because it's Plastic Free July, it's simply single-use plastic. We should really, 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 really get rid of that. That should be like a worldwide effort to reduce and eventually eliminate plastic packaging, single-use straws, single-use cutlery, anything that is produced, used once and then thrown away. And I think this pandemic has kind of highlighted or not even highlighted. No, it's made the issue worse. It's definitely an eco poop.
So join in Plastic Free July if you haven't already, or take this episode and use it as an inspiration to up your game from a 6 to a 1 in the Plastic Free July world. And, you know, tell us how you're getting on. Follow us on social media at Green Pretenders.
Yeah, or send us an email, thegreenpretenders@gmail.com.
Like and subscribe and that stuff if you can.
Yes, and leave us a review on iTunes. That'd be really helpful.
And remember, the pod is always
greener.